I created the perfect diet, but to understand why it's the perfect diet, we have to understand what's wrong with the majority of diets. We have to understand why they're so difficult to stick to and sometimes don't even work. The first issue with the majority of diets is that we cut weight too fast. If you want to be in a certain shape for a certain period of time for any particular event, then you need to be able to control how fast you're losing weight. But if you just cut your calories and start eating less, it's very hard to control that. The second issue with most diets is that they often leave us feeling low energy. And of course, having less calories, we're going to feel low energy. But again, if we do this too quickly, then we're not consuming the calories that we need. So we have to be mindful that we're going to have a lot less energy. So we shouldn't be doing that too quick. Of course, if you're trying to get to low body fat levels, if you're a bodybuilder perhaps, then it's inevitable. You're eventually going to have very low energy. The next issue with the majority of diets is that it's just demotivating and it's very difficult to do. Because a lot of people feel that diets are very restrictive, you can only eat certain things, you can only eat certain amounts. It's very demotivating. They can't have foods that they enjoy. It was very difficult. They're not getting the energy and calories that they need, so it's very difficult to maintain and be consistent with their diet. The next issue with dieting is seeing a rebound effect, which happens with most diets because people don't have a post-diet plan. So often people are going to slash their calories for maybe 8 weeks. And then after the 8 weeks, they're going to go straight back to what they were eating before. Because we don't have a plan and we've just gone back to eating what we were eating before, of course, we're going to put the weight back on and we can't maintain the weight that we are and keep the body fat off. Which leads me to the last issue with the majority of diets. We do see a change, but then we see a plateau. This is because our metabolism has adjusted. So for a period of time, we've decided to eat less calories. We're giving our body less energy, but our body is smarter than we think. It's going to adapt to what we're giving it. So initially we will see weight loss, but eventually our metabolism adjusts. So we plateau. Because our body has adjusted to the calories and the energy that is being given, of course our body needs to survive. So our body's going to outsmart us and adjust to what we're providing it. So we're not going to see any more weight loss. We're just going to stay at the same weight, even possibly gain a bit of weight. With traditional diets, we're typically looking at our daily calorie intake, but we need to look at our weekly calorie intake. The reason I say this is because, of course, our body changes from day to day, but it's not a significant change. Significant changes happen from week to week because our body adjusts to stimuli over time. The perfect diet should feel relatively easy. And tracking your calories from week to week as opposed to day is going to feel a lot easier. It's going to feel less restrictive and more flexible. So what is the perfect diet? Essentially, it's gradual intermittent fasting. Every 2 weeks, you're going to decrease the amount of calories that you're having. The reason I've chosen intermittent fasting is because it's easiest to remove breakfast. And in your other meals, it's also easier to have higher protein. Whether we're trying to gain weight or lose weight, protein intake is important. We should aim to have between 1.5 to 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. Like I said before, our metabolism adjusts. That's why it's gradual. Every 2 weeks, we're changing the amount of calories that we're having. So our body doesn't get used to the diet and the amount that we're eating. The constant changes are what allow you to escape hitting a plateau. So how do you apply this practically? Every 2 weeks, we're going to add a day of intermittent fasting. So in the first 2 weeks, we're going to have 1 day of intermittent fasting. Then the following 2 weeks, we're going to have 2 days. In the following 2 weeks, we're going to have 3 days. In the following weeks, we're going to have 4 days, and so on until we get to a whole week of intermittent fasting. And I like this method because of the flexibility. We can change the amount of time we're taking to add a day. It doesn't have to be every 2 weeks. It can be every 3 weeks if you're trying to lose weight over a longer period of time and have a further target goal. It can be every week if you have a closer target goal. So there's a lot of flexibility with this method. Like I said before, we need a post-diet plan so we're not gaining too much weight after the diet. And this method makes it really easy. We've taken away days after a certain amount of weeks. So we can add the days after a certain amount of weeks. If we're 7 days intermittent fasting, after 2 weeks, we can add a day back to eat the amount of calories we were having at maintenance. And we can continue to do this until we reach maintenance levels. We don't have to bring our calories back straight away, which is going to make us gain too much weight. We can do it slowly. So we're doing it in a controlled way and we can stop when we need to. The method is very simple. I don't really need to give you any extra information. I never really heard anyone talk about this method. It just made sense to me. So I'm going to claim it. I'm going to call it the Rehan diet or the Rehan method, whichever way you want to go. I hope you found this video useful. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.